Alright, here we are. It's time to start the fairing of my mast step. And the surface has been prepared, and the edges have been prepared, and masking tapes are on. The surface is exactly how I want it to be for the fairing compound. And as a fairing compound, I'll be using this special epoxy based Pro fairing compound, which I hope it's going to be light to sand and lighter to apply, up to 2 millimeter layer. Of course, I will wipe everything down first with an acetone, and I have three kinds of squeegees, or whatever you call these, as a tool, which I'm going to use. Hopefully the end result will be a very smooth surface. So I'm looking forward to do this in two steps. So now I'm going to do the first layers, and then next week gonna do the interim sanding, and then hopefully the final layer is gonna take me there for the before the painting is ready to be started. So unfortunately, I still don't have a tripod or anything. I could film the process of my work, but here we go. Let's see how we're gonna figure this out. Fairing layer number 1 has now been sanded, and it's not perfect after the first layer, of course, but it's not meant to be. So I was planning to do it in 2 layers to get it as smooth as possible. Of course, I'm not gonna be looking at my own reflection from it, so I don't care if it's not exactly smooth everywhere, especially underneath where the mast step's gonna be, because no one's gonna look there anyway. All I care is just it has to be square, and it has to be smooth, absolutely smooth. That looks good. After the first layer, the sanding came out pretty alright. This fairing compound was really easy to sand, and I did it all by hand, so I'm very happy about that. So the dust is not all over the place either. So tomorrow another layer of fairing, and hopefully that will do it. Then at the end of this week, we'll be putting some paint on it. So good night. Alright, welcome back to the boat yard. Finally back here. It's a beautiful day out there. I should be out there in the water, sailing or paddling, not doing the boat work whatsoever. But we finally gotten to the point that the fairing of this mast step is now ready. It's smooth. It might not be perfect, but it works for me. Definitely works for me. And it's now ready for the first layers of paint. So first I'm gonna go with a epoxy primer, solid and waterproof, and then top it up with 2 layers of two component top coat. It's definitely not perfect, but it definitely works for me. This is what we're gonna go with, and finally get this project ready. All masked and protected. It's quite windy today, so I'm better to protect from the drips as well. I'm gonna also paint a couple of old holes at the same time. Yeah, time to do the final wipe with the acetone, and then we're ready to paint. And project is finally getting to the final stretch. Here we go. We've come pretty far from the first initial steps of the project under the canopy, struggling in the harsh cold weather with blizzards and hailstorms and everything, because now it's almost 30 degrees outside, and it's time for the last layer of top coat to the project. And the final masking tapes are on. It's starting to look pretty awesome. but I just want the one successful last layer of top coat on it. And I have to say the previous layers have not been so successful, so I have had to do the sanding between all the layers, but I guess that's the there's no shortcuts to the perfect result. Okay, but now almost perfect conditions, no moist, no dew yet. However, we do have direct sunshine, which is not very optimal for two component paints, but I have to fix with these the material I have to fix the sunshade for it, and just go for it. The project has been taking way too long now. So all the thumbs up that the final layers of the paint are gonna be successful. Here we go. Well, it's not perfect, but it's the best I can do at this point. Next time, if I would do something different, I would definitely keep the canopy on until the final layer of the paint has been set, because the direct sunlight and the dew and everything can ruin your paint very easily. All right, let's see what we can come up with this time. All right, final gear check. Hard plastic cup for the paint. Note to self, those red cups won't last. 2 component paints, they'll melt. Good quality paint roller. I'm using the mohair one. Hopefully doesn't leave any small hairs behind this time. The last 3 ones have all of them have been dropping hair. This time, if it does that, I don't give a. If it'll happen, it will happen. And good quality varnish brush for the final touch-ups to make the final layer as smooth as possible. All right, here we go. One more time at the mixing station. This time, no more epoxy mixing, only paint mixing at this time. And the particular paint that we are using is from Hempel Polygloss, which is two component, not epoxy based, but polyester based top coat. Only for professional use, it says down there. Yeah, right. Guess I'm a professional now. But it's supposed to give a very shiny, very lasting, very smooth final layer, if everything goes well and if the painter does his job. But now, really, no more footage before we're done. So fingers crossed, thumbs up. Let's make the magic happen.